Life ought to be lived from the inside out. It is the level of self-mastery where external circumstances don't shift you. You remain unshaken, grounded, immovable. Take Jesus, for example, the greatest man to ever walk on the face of the earth. He chose to sleep in the presence of chaos. When the waves were slapping the boat and the disciples were screaming everywhere, his internal state was peace. Someone once said that the highest form of governance is self-governance. Wait, was I dramatic enough? Yeah, I think we're good. We can start. Hi everybody, my name is Tehila Ndirangu, but you can call me Tehi, and I am so glad to have you here. Welcome to Heartprint Season 1. Now, in this season, we are going to focus on the art of growing, and in episode 1, we are narrowing it down to the heart behind heartprints and when growth begins in the dark. Now, you better get cozy because things are about to get real, raw, authentic. Grab a cup of tea and let's dive into it. The heart behind Heartprints. Heartprints was birthed from the need or seeing the need of so many people with great potentials, greatness is inside of them, but they don't know it. I included. Like I've been there. And so Heartprints came as a result of seeing the need of someone to hold someone else's hand, a voice of truth to remind someone that, hey, you still got this. Hey, you're still greatness. Hey, I see something in you and you just need to refine it. But that doesn't mean that because you can't see it yet, it's not there. Heartprints aims to be a lighthouse to many, to serve as a lighthouse to help many cross the sea and reach their shores. And it's my prayer that that will happen. Now, my story. I have always been a performer since I was a kid. Like I had this urge, or I always want to do something and do it well, like super well. Take for example, if I was the one, doing a duty at home, and let's say it's cleaning, I will clean every corner of the house. I will clean the compound hadi nyuma ya mawe. Like I will ningejituma, be serious, because I always wanted to do the best. If it's being a friend, nitajituma so much just to make sure someone else feels special. That has always been me. And so when I was young, I jitumad. I was so deep into books. I was like a serious bookwormer since I was young because I wanted to do well. I wanted to make my parents proud. I wanted, like, seeing them smile was my joy and has always been my joy. So walk with me. This story is going somewhere. My whole life was invested in books. When I was a kid in primary, then I joined boarding, and then high school. I was a serious bookwormer. You know those bookwormers when you had him kienda funky, they carry chozi laheri. Yeah, I was that kind of a bookwormer. Like, we go do whatever we're doing. If it's playing basketball, I used to play basketball. We come back, I'm having my book. We're going for a math contest, I come back, I'm having my book. When we're walking, I have like these tiny papers with notes inside my pocket because I could not imagine wasting a second, and I really wanted to do well. Now, why am I sharing this? I'm sharing this because after we were done with high school, the one thing that I was so invested in took a pause. Like, now that period when you're done with KCSE and you're yet to join campus. And I was hit with the reality that I didn't know who Tehila was. Yeah, identity crisis slapped me pop on one side, and life was staring at me. life was waiting for me to get there. And you know, I'm a sanguine. So one character of sanguines is we invest so much in knowing other people. Like, hey, you, I will know what you like, what you don't like, what you eat, what's your favorite, like everything about you in details. But most of the time, we forget to date ourselves. So that was me. I'm there with this serious identity crisis issue. Like, I don't know who Tehi is fully. And then now I have to deal with that because I can't hide in books. So that continued for some good time. It was like, hey, it was like a very, very dark period. During that time, my emotions are just haywire because I'm growing as well. Sorry for that sound. Because I'm growing as well. I am learning to relate with my family members because before I used to hide in books. So like when we go home for the holidays, I have my 12 books that I'm going to study. My bag was so heavy and I would barely interact with them. So now I'm done with school. I have to interact with them. I have to get to know, oh, my sister doesn't like when you say something this way. Figure out another sentence. And that took a while. But now we joined campus. And campus is now a whole other shift for me. I think I posted this video on Instagram how I was hiding. You know, when I said when you listen to a lie so much, you tend to believe it's true. So during that period, my identity was messed up. I had listened to the devil so much. Hey, you know those thoughts that tell you, nah, you're not good enough. Nah, what are you doing? Nah, you're not performing. Nah, you're not perfect. Those voices, yeah, they were sort of amplified, and I was kind of caving in. I used to hide. I used to hide in masks and shades. I would wear a cape and like my braids are falling down so that no one could see me. I, for the longest time, couldn't look at myself in the mirror. Yeah, the girl who was a leader in school. Yeah, but anywho. So fast forward to sometime still in first year when God sent someone. Shout out to Mercy. God really used that lady. She's a senior. She's my senior. And I remember she would call me. She would ask me, "How are you?" This one question that struck me was when she asked me, "Is everything okay with your life?" I'm like, "Huh?" I mean, people ask, "Are you okay?" or "Is everything okay?" What do you mean, is everything okay in your life? So that made me pause and think, wait, things are not okay. And she reached out, and this is to show you the power of community, how she called me out. Like, you know, I don't know, I was thinking of this, how when Lazarus was deep in the cave, buried, well, he was buried, and then Jesus was like, Lazarus, come out. Like, we kind of need those people around us who will be like, nah, you're sleeping on that. Nah, you're hiding in that cave, come out. And that was her for me, and I am grateful for that. Now, Heartprints is a voice. It's a voice. It's a virtual hand to you, because most of the times greatness does not know it's greatness, especially in the initial stages. Think about this for a second with me, okay? You can see everyone else around you. I can see you, well, literally, I can't see you because you're watching the recorded video, but if we were to meet in person, I can see you, right? You can see me, but you cannot see you. You've only seen a reflection of you in the mirror. But when the mirror is tainted or the mirror is crooked, you'll see yourself as damaged, right? You see yourself as like you're distorted kind of way. But when you have the correct mirror, someone is holding that mirror to you, you're able to see who you really are, that your greatness, because everyone is great. Everyone was born with the seed of greatness inside of them. And so Heartprints aims to be that mirror that when you're listening to these conversations, you find yourself. When you're listening to this conversation, it causes you to reflect a lot, and you're able to realize who you are. Now, when we say when growth begins in the dark, realize growth isn't always on bright stages with lights and camera and action. Nah, growth sometimes is in the hidden places. Take, for example, a baby. A baby in the womb is filled in darkness. But that doesn't mean because you can't see it, it's not growing, right? Okay, let's take another example. A seed. When you plant a seed, it's literally buried under the soil and it's still in darkness, but it's growing. Realize that the most transformative places of growth happen in the darkness. And most of us disregard growth because we cannot see the lights. I can't see someone asking for my autograph. I can't see, cameras everywhere and flashy, flashy lights, or me in the newspaper or in a vlog. But you're still growing, aren't you? And I read something here that darkness isn't always a sign of death, but sometimes it's the incubator of destiny. That you're not buried, you're planted. So to every one of us who in this year you feel like, this year has been crazy. This year has been interesting. This year feels like I have been in the dark. I want you to pause for a second and think about it really. You might have been growing even in the dark. Your mindset has shifted. How you respond to people and things has shifted. So that means you're growing. And for that, I am proud of you and keep on doing that. The other thing about growth is growth isn't always comfortable, but it's very necessary. It's very necessary. Growth sometimes looks like dying. When you read John 14:12, it talks of how unless a corn of wheat or a grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it abides alone. Unless that seed falls and gets out of the shell of its shell, that's uncomfortable, yo. I mean, it's really uncomfortable when a moth, not a moth, but larvae is transforming to a butterfly, is metamorphosing into a butterfly. It literally has to get out of its cocoon. Yeah, and that's uncomfortable as well. But for the joy set before you, for the joy set before you in seeing the steps that you will have taken, you choose to grow regardless. Growth sometimes is disruptive, but most people tend to give up in that area. When you feel like things are being shaken up, you feel like things are becoming undone. But I want you to know that the undoing is also the becoming. The undoing is also the becoming. The undoing of the ground is the becoming of the seed. When the ground is breaking up so that that shoot can come out, that's the undoing of the ground, but it's also the becoming of the seed. When we talk about, let's think of something. Building. When we want to build a building, you have to break the ground first, right? To lay its foundation, right? But that's the undoing. It feels like you're tearing up, like you're being ripped apart. But it's the foundation, the right foundation being laid up. Heart Prince is centered on wholeness and becoming wholeness because you cannot build on a broken foundation. You just can't. Otherwise, you'll think you're building faster and rising quicker, but then eventually you will fall. So unless the foundation is right, unless your heart is right, unless your internal state is right, you will rise so high only to fall down. And it's my prayer that that will never happen for us. When you talk of undoing is also the becoming, I tend to think of the eagle. You know the story of the eagle? How when an eagle is old, they fly to the highest mountain, like in a rocky place, and there behind the rock, they pluck off feathers from their body, and they stay there until new feathers grow. And they rely on other eagles to bring them food because they can't fly without feathers. I mean, yeah. And I think about that scenario, and looking back to my life, I feel like there are some places where I have literally felt like my feathers are being plucked out, but it's so that the new ones can grow, and that comes with growth. You feel like all of a sudden I can't talk the way I used to talk. I can't joke the way I used to joke. I can't think the way I used to think. But that's the requirement of growth. But don't give up in the plucking of the feathers. Don't give up in the tearing up of the ground. Your eyes should be set so much on where you're going and how you'll get there, and intentionally taking steps to get there. That story of the eagle has kept me going even through the toughest times. Growth will make you realize that not everyone is meant to fit in your boots. Hey, that means there's some relationships that can't proceed to the next level. They just can't. Not because they're bad or you're bad, it's because they are not in your story where you're going. My prayer for you and I is that we will grow even as the year is wrapping up and we're gearing towards 2026 and everyone is writing their resolution and people are happy and doing the 2025 wrapped. I pray that even in this coming season, we are going to be intentional about growth, because when something is not growing, it starts dying. I mean, growth is the focus of so many things. Companies want to grow, sales want to grow, you want to grow, businesses want to grow, a child has to grow. But in this growth process, it comes with a lot. So this is me telling you that when growth comes and it feels like you're in the dark, remember you're planted, not buried. That the breaking up of the soil is not for your funeral. Nah, it's just laying the foundation. And it is something that I have had to realize. Took me a while to realize. Maybe I can ask, feel free to answer in the comment section. What are some of the areas that you feel or have felt like you were being buried yet you are being planted? You felt like you were being torn apart, broken up, but then in retrospect, looking back, you realized, oh, I was actually growing. In this season, in this podcast, it's not a one-man army, so feel free to share in the comment sections. Feel free to share what you have learned, what you have always known, what kept you growing even in that moment, and it might help someone. And lastly, what to expect. So in not episode 1, but season 1, The Art of Growing, we're going to look at growth in two aspects. So one, we're focusing on growing out of. I know there's some things we need to grow out of, like I'm looking at you. Yeah, you need to grow out of, and me too. And also the second aspect is the things that we need to grow into, because when you're jumping from one state, you have to land in another. You can't exist in a vacuum. So feel free to also comment in the comment section. What are some of the things that you would love to know? You would love to know the how of growing out of, and what are you looking forward to growing into even as we are approaching 2026? Like, share, comment, subscribe, tell a friend about us. I mean, don't gatekeep, and I'll see you soon. But until then, keep shining, for in your light, many will see light. Adios.